It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Alright guys, you have to give a thumbs up for that save. That was a great save, and this is the drone that made that save possible. It is one of my latest build, very special build, and in order to show you how special this build is, I have to use a scale. I got a scale ready to go, and to give you a better perspective of how special that drone is, I'm gonna weight some of my other 5-inch drone. That is a 5-inch. This is one of my 5-inch and very good flyer. Let's see how much it weighs. And you can see the weight of this 5-inch is 404 grams. And this is another one of my 5-inch. And this guy weighs 467 grams. And of course, this is a heavy frame. It's the I think it's the LC1 from Auto Riot. I mean, this thing is a tank. Alright, another 5-inch, and this is my DJI drone. And this one weighs 402 grams. So now let's go with the star of the video. And you can see, guys, I do have my GoPro on. Let's see how much this thing weighs with the GoPro on. So this thing, this 5-inch frame, this last build of mine actually weight less than some of my 5-inch with a GoPro on top. So that's make it very special. So it is a very light build. Let's go ahead and add some battery on it. What's the total flying weight is going to be? I want to start with a little 4S battery. This is a 1300. And that's a 4S. With the 4S 1300, the weight goes to 545. Even though this is actually a 6S build, I do fly it on 4, 5, and 6S. And what we got here now is a 5S. And with the 5S, the weight goes to 575. And finally, let's put a 6S in here. And that's a 1100 milliamp hour 6S. I'll be able to see that. The weight goes to 601, but I can even do a little better than that because I have the GoPro on, and this is not a session 5, it is a session 4, and I usually don't fly with this one just because I use the Ronken 5, and in my personal opinion the Ronken 5 has a better image than the session 4. So we're going to take the session 4 out and we're going to put the Ronken 5 in. And this is the weight, guys, with the Ronken 5 orange. The total weight of this build with a 6S LaPo is 583 grams. So that is a very lightweight 5-inch. Of course, that weight was with a small 6S battery. This is only an 1100 milliamp hours. Now I'm going to try with a heavier 6S battery. This one is 1300 milliamp hours, so it's a big 6S battery as far as freestyle flying goes. Now with the big one, weight goes to 601, so that is a pretty light build. Alright guys, so I have to switch microphone because my camera just died. So let's jump back in the flight footage. If you have any question about this build, just check the description section of this video. I got all the parts I use for this build listed. It's gonna be hard for me to compare this build to my previous build for the simple reason that I got a couple of stuff that are very unique to this build. The first one is gonna be the flight controller. I am using a FlightOne flight controller on this build. On my previous build, on my other 5-inch drone, I use either Betaflight or EmoFlight. So the flight characteristic, the flight feel gonna be different just because of the different software. And second, I am using a TBS Nano receiver on this build, and on all my other build I use R9 receiver, and you all know that TBS Nano has a much faster refresh rate than the R9, so that maybe explains some of the different feel I have about how this drone flying compared to my other one. And last but not least, I am using a 2206 motor on this build, and this is the first time I use 2206 motor on any of my build. All my other build I have 2207, so that should also explain some of the difference in flight. But let me let you know what I have experienced so far. The first thing is the flight time on this drone is wonderful. Because of the lightweight, there is less stress on the battery, so I'm getting a lot more flight time from the batteries than I do with my heavier drone. For example, on one of my forest LaPo, which is the 1300 milliamp hour LaPo, I can get up to 10-minute time of just cruising around, which I cannot do with the same LaPo with my heavier drone. And on average, I'm getting about 6 to 7 minutes of freestyle flight with this quad, and on my other or heavier drone I get about 5-minute flight time of freestyle. And second, I am also able to feel the difference between prop when I'm using this drone. For example, on this drone I have used the S3 prop from Mr. Steel, I have used the Nazgul prop, and I also used the Gemfan 41466. And every time I change prop, I can actually feel the difference on how the drone is flying. And this is something I usually not able to feel with my heavier drone, but with this drone, every time I switch prop, the flight characteristic of the drone just change completely. And I think because it's such a lightweight drone, so the prop has a much more effect on how the drone is actually flying. But I mean, that's pretty much the big change I can see between this weight drone and my heavier drone. I'm not an expert on that subject. If you really want to learn a lot more about it, I will advise you to check Kebab FPV channel. He talk a lot more about lightweight and heavyweight. He knows a lot more of the sides beyond it. But as far as I can tell you guys, is this thing fly great. It is actually one of my favorite drone now. And I'm actually thinking about maybe in the next couple months building a second light weight drone again, because I just love the way this thing flies. And thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, guys. Thank you again.